So on today's podcast, we're talking about attitude part two. Attitude part two. And y'all know how we do. We jump right in and get things started. But before we do, let's get that intro in. Frame Mind Inc. podcast starts right now.
Get your mind right. Get your mind right.
It's a frame of mind.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Frame of Mind Inc. podcast. This is your boy Simbawi Nibayo Jr., aka TK, and my man Omar Williams. We call him O. Say what's up to the peeps.
What's going on, good people?
It is another lovely Wednesday here on the Frame of Mind Inc. podcast, and y'all know how we do. We jump right in and get things started. But before we do, it's Affirmation Wednesday, and y'all know how we do. We jump right into affirmations, get them in and out the way, get our day started. And for you, if you're getting the replay, whether it's via video or audio, get your affirmations ready. Affirmation, whatever day it is, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, or whatever time of day it is, morning, noon, or night, or late in the midnight hour. If you listen to this in the midnight hour across seas somewhere where the time is different, it's another day, another time of the day, all good. Are you ready? Here we go. Today will be a good day. Today will be a great day. Today will be an amazing day. Today will be a phenomenal day. Today will be stress-free. Today will be a stress-less day. Today, I will overcome all barriers that want to block my progress. Today, all circumstances, issues, and situations will line up and work in my favor. Today, all things will line up for my good. Today, I will become better than who and what I was yesterday. I am a go-getter. I am victorious. I am triumphant. I am an overcomer. I never lose. I either win or I learn. I take authority over this day. I will dominate this day. I will conquer this day. And everything I have spoken into this day will happen as I have affirmed, because I am more than a conqueror. Let's get it popping. So last week, talked about attitude. And not only that, we talked about what attitude is from a definition standpoint, and we also gave the shortcut version of what attitude is as well. We also talked about aptitude and altitude, because we normally kind of hear those together to a large degree as well. And then we talked about some things about how we can look at attitude. So if you want to get on that, get the podcast from the previous week on attitude part one. We're moving on to attitude part two. And attitude part two, we're going to talk about some other things, what we can do to have a better attitude, some ways that we can treat other people, treat circumstances, treat ourselves to a degree as well, and get some key points and suggestions on how to help you with your attitude as well. And don't forget, we're also talking to ourselves too. For myself and we've gone through a number of things in our lives that have helped shape and frame our attitudes and our ways of thinking. And so we're just giving it back to you guys, those of you who are looking to better your life one way or the other, whether through entrepreneurship, whether it's through just working on your own job, getting through the day, being a parent, being just an everyday person doing whatever it is that you do. We're talking to you, and of course, you. So real quick, I'm actually going to go backwards from altitude, aptitude, and attitude as far as the definitions real quick. And then we'll jump into what we're doing today. So real quick, altitude. Altitude is pretty much the height of something. How high can you go? What's the distance between, the ground level and whatever, however high in the sky you can get. The altitude that a plane gets to, the altitude that a kite can get to. But then again, the altitude of where it is you can go. How high in life can you go? What is your altitude? How high can you go from where you started to where you're going to finish? And that could be in phases or in stages, whichever one it is. That's pretty much altitude. Now, aptitude is a little different, but they all kind of play together. And I'm gonna let O jump in here later to talk about that last phrase, that last ending of all the names. TUDE. It's tude. Tude. You're gonna tell us what that is.
Okay.
So aptitude. Aptitude is the willingness to learn something new or craft your gift or talent. Again, the willingness to learn something new or craft your gift or your talent. That's aptitude. So we've got altitude and aptitude. And then we get into attitude, which is what we're talking about today. Attitude, there's definitions out there for attitude all over the place. There's, your Webster's dictionary, all the other good stuff. But here's the long and short of what attitude is. And attitude is basically your actions, your feelings, and your moods. How you act, how you feel about things, and how your mood is, when doing whatever it is in life. So, just jump in real quick and just give the people that definition or what you found as far as like TUDE at the end of all this: attitude, aptitude, altitude, gratitude.
Okay.
All those. Just give them that real quick.
So yeah, so as we were talking last week, I looked into the etymology of tude, and the tude of like, so if you put tude at the end of anything, it's pretty much mean it's your posture, your positioning, like what position you're in, or your disposition that you're in, or it's mainly your posture, your position, or your disposition. So so it's you look at it this way. So your aptitude is how about learning, right? Or in altitude is how high you can get. So if you just put the tude on how high you can get, it's your position is going to determine that, your disposition is going to determine that, and your posture will determine that, right? And then we broke that all down last week. We don't want to get them all the sauce. Go back to the old show though.
Yeah, basically, I wanted to get you guys just the etymology, as O said, of what TUDE,
but yeah,
what it means and how it all works together. And so we also threw in there gratitude. You can throw that in there as well.
Yep.
Anything that ends in tude, that kind of gives you the idea of where we're going with here. So attitude, part 2. Let's dive into this here. So this is just not in particular order. It's just we're going through a list here. So feel free to take notes however you like, number it how you want. That's totally up to you. So picking up from last week, treating everyone you can in contact with as the most important person on earth. I'll say it again. Treating everyone you come in contact with as the most important person on earth. Now, let's break this down just slightly. That's not saying that you're putting other people ahead of, like, say, your family or your wife or your children, and treating everyone as more important than them. What it means is, in that moment or during that time period when you're dealing with certain individuals, treat them as the most important person on the earth. Why? People want to feel important. People, to a degree, need to feel important. Now, you're not trying to stroke someone's ego or, put someone on a pedestal. It's just we're human beings. Like, that's how we're kind of made up.
Right.
Like, we don't want to feel like we're taken advantage of. People don't appreciate us. And, we're just feeling like no one really cares. In life, things are going to happen. There are people who are not going to care. There's people who are going to take advantage of you. And there's people who aren't going to necessarily care about you. But if you want to have a good attitude towards people and have that reciprocated to you, you need to treat others the way you want to be treated.
Yep.
So if you want to be treated as the most important person on the earth or in the room or whatever, you should treat others the same way. Just plain and simple. People reap what they sow. Again, you treat others. Now, I'm gonna say this kind of in a plain text. Don't take it out of context when I say this, okay? If you treat people like trash, you're going to get treated like trash. If you treat people as if they're the best thing since sliced bread, as that saying goes, you will get treated as the best thing since sliced bread. Again, this may not happen all the time,
Right.
but it will begin to happen more times than not. Some things you have to do for a certain amount of time before it starts happening to you. So don't expect for you to treat others like the best thing since sliced bread and it's automatically going to start happening to you. It may take some time. It may not happen right away. It may not happen overnight, but it will add up eventually. I want to throw that in there.
Right.
It's not going to be a microwave thing where you just put it in there and push a button and boom, you get treated the same way you treat others. No, you got to put that thing in the oven and let that thing just do its thing. And then when the oven or when the food is done and the timer goes off, food is done, ready to go. It's going to be an oven thing, not a microwave thing. It happens like that. And then at times you might get the microwave thing. Just may not be all the time. But when it comes time for that oven to be where it's supposed to be, man, look, everybody wants some of that. Everybody wants some of that. That's how it's going to happen for you. Last little bullet point for this thing is develop a habit of doing this. Develop a habit. A habit. I can't talk today. A habit of doing this. Habits, principles, morals, they all go together. Develop a habit of treating people the way they want to be treated. Treat them as the most important person in the room or on the earth. And again, you will reap what you sow when you do that. You got anything, O?
I'm sorry. I just again like back to this positioning. Position yourself to treat people good. So like whether that be a routine in the morning, whether you get your mind right in the morning, you get in position, whether you get in prayer in the morning, whether that be meditate, whatever you choose to do, get yourself in a position to have a good attitude and to habitually or make a habit of treating people good. And again, like you just don't do it, like my man said, it don't happen overnight. It's not a microwave. It's not a microwave dinner. It's like it's nice oven roasted, slow cooked, crock pot.
There you go. Now these next few points, they might hit you a little hard, but that's good. That's good because some of you might need that. Talking about positioning. People don't have attitudes because of their position. People have positions because of their attitudes. There's not a whole lot more I can say about that. We talked about that pretty much the whole first 10 minutes of the show about positioning. Again, people don't have attitudes because of their position. People have positions because of their attitudes. You want to be like so-and-so, or you think so-and-so got that position because they got a good attitude or because someone, decided that they were better than you were or whatever. It's like, well, actions speak louder than words. You can't talk a good game. You got to be about a good game. But also your attitude, your positioning, your posture says a lot. If your position, if your posture says, I'm just going to give half effort.
Right.
You're going to get half a response. If your posture says I'm giving full effort, you're going to get full response. Now, you can fool people into getting a position. Let's be real. You can fool somebody into you getting a position. But what will happen is the truth will eventually come out. Because if you're not prepared for that position, you're going to show them just how unprepared you are,
right?
Because you fooled them into thinking you could do it.
Right.
And that just goes for anything in life. I'm not talking about your job. This can go for anything in life, period. Anything whatsoever. Don't let someone's negative attitude rub off on you. I think that's pretty much explanatory. We didn't really got to really elaborate on that.
Right.
Don't let someone else's negative attitude rub off on you. And this next one goes along with that. Be above it. Be above it. That goes back to being, developing a habit of doing this. Develop a habit of not letting someone else's negative attitude rub off on you. And be above it. Don't let someone else bring you down to their level based on how they're acting towards you, what they're doing, what they're saying. And again, we're not perfect beings. We're going to make mistakes. We are. But learning from those mistakes is what really counts.
Right.
Learning from them to be better at what you are, who you are, what you do. Bad attitudes will make you sick. And I'm talking about physically sick. Not like people say, oh, you make me sick. No.
Right.
Bad attitudes will make you sick as in ill. That's what I'm talking about. It affects your body. Again, going back to that posture and positioning. We're talking about it all for the past, almost 14 minutes now. Attitudes make you sick and they affect your body. It affects how you act towards people. It affects how you look. It affects how you feel. It affects your emotions. It affects how you walk, how you talk, everything. It brings you down.
Wow.
And not only that, your bad attitude can make you sick and it can make others sick.
Yes, sir.
Either physically or emotionally or anything else. Here's the last thing I'm going to say before we kind of go in a break. Your attitude can cause you to be in a depressed state. Which means your attitude can bring on depression in your life.
Yes, sir.
If you keep having a negative, bad attitude, it will eventually bring depression into your life. Because situations, circumstances, and all that can happen in your life. And depending on your attitude towards it, it can bring depression or it could bring progression into your life. I'm gonna let that sit there for one moment.
Let that sit. Let that marinate, brother.
Depending on your attitude in life, no matter what's going on, it can bring depression into your life, or it can bring progression into your life. While you marinate on that, we're gonna take a little break.
Yes, sir.
And we'll come back with the Frame of Mind Inc. podcast with Attitude Part 2. Don't go nowhere. Are you looking for an apparel company that's positive, uplifting, and truly cares about you? Then look no further. Frame of Mind Inc., an apparel brand company, impresses on individuals to think positive thoughts, say positive things, and do positive deeds. Get positive apparel, such as t-shirts, hoodies, and wristbands for children, teens, and adults in various colors and sizes. Customized services include logo and t-shirt design, screen printing, and embroidery for individuals, families, schools, profit, and nonprofit organizations. You can reach Frame of Mind Inc. at 302-689-3499 or visit their website at www.frameofmindinc.com. Frame of Mind Inc. Think it, speak it, achieve it.
It's a frame of mind.
Welcome back to the show, ladies and gentlemen. Before we left, we're talking about Attitude Part 2, talking about treating others the way you want to be treated. Treating them as the most important person on the earth, in the room, reciprocating that, reaping what you sow. Developing a habit around treating people that way, making them feel important, because everyone wants to feel important, no matter who you are. People don't have attitudes because of their position. People have their position because of their attitudes. Don't let don't let someone else's negative attitude rub off on you. Be above it. Bad attitudes will make you sick physically. It affects your body. It brings you down. And it can bring depression in your life, or it can bring progression in your life, whether you want to have a negative attitude or a positive attitude. Go ahead. O.
Yeah, I almost heard somebody say it when you said the attitude, your position, what is it? Your position as a reflection of your attitude,
Yeah.
or right? And I can hear somebody right now saying, "Well, what about I know all these people in positions they got bad attitudes," and I'm going to say they're not going to be there that long. Right? It's people probably in position, like people are listening to this going, "Well, my such and such has a horrible attitude, and they're the top dog," or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not going to last that long having that attitude like that person has. They might have gotten there on a good attitude, and then things happen. They got a bad attitude, and then it could be on the downslope. So yeah. So I just felt like I had that to it.
And that could also be a result of somebody inheriting something, where it's
Wow, that's good.
no matter what their attitude is,
That's
it's
good.
going to be given to them.
That's
Just,
good.
and that's just how life sometimes works. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
like that'll happen, and that person may be in that position for a while because it's an inherited thing.
Right.
It's not something that they earned,
That's good.
or they showed somebody, hey, I can do this. It's like, no, it's already set in stone. No matter what, this is going to happen. That should not affect you. And I think we did a podcast or we were talking about doing one where the difference between, getting certain things out of life where you can either inherit something, you work hard for it, or there's something that's in between. And so, just real brief, is that those who normally work hard for things will appreciate it more because they had to work for it. When you inherit it, it's a little different story because now you didn't necessarily have to work for it. Now, does it mean that someone who inherited something didn't work for it? It's just when the attitude is a little twisted, you can tell it was handed to them. They didn't necessarily work for it.
Right.
That's all I'm saying. So, again, too, if you want to contact the podcast, you can at FOFM podcast at frameofmindinc.com. That's FOFM podcast at frameofmindinc.com. Or give us a call at 302-689-3499. We'd love to hear from you. Finishing up this attitude part 2. Key points of attitude. Number 1. And again, this is not in any particular order, just you can number how you want. This is how we got it here. So, attitude will always determine the outcome of your success or not success. Attitude will determine the outcome of your success or the lack of success thereof. Again, positioning, posturing, it all goes together. Number 2. Attitude towards others determine their attitude towards you. Again, reaping what you sow. What you give out is what you get back. We gave the example in last week's podcast about the couple that moved to Florida, across the street from Earl Nightingale, long ago. And the lady, the attitude she gave out to the other women was the attitude she got back. And the attitude was, she wasn't very welcoming, so no one wanted to approach her and ask her to do anything. That's the kind of attitude she gave out. That's what she got back. Think, speak, and act like the person you want to become. That's huge. That's huge. Because where you are or where you may be in life right now is not always where you're going to be, depending on your attitude, how you think, how you speak, how you act. Thus, thinking, speaking, and achieving. It's a very good reason why that's the tagline of this company. It's how you think eventually becomes what you speak, and what you speak eventually shapes your world and your life, and it begins to act out on its own, negatively or positively. Attitude is not a result of great success. Success is the result of a great attitude. Same thing as positioning. Same thing. And again, treating others the way you want to be treated. Can't say that enough. Can't say that enough. Reaping what you sow, treating others the way you want to be treated. Last few things, and then we'll be done for today. And I'll let O jump in here at the end before we go. And then we've got a little announcement before we do that. Make your thoughts constructive and positive. Easier said than done. But when you develop a habit of doing so, it becomes more part of you. Now, the one thing I don't normally say is, oh, it becomes easier. Not a whole lot is easy to do. It just becomes more a part of who you are.
Right.
It becomes more habitual. It becomes more automatic, should I say. And that's not easy. It takes work to put that into for it to become like that, to become automatic, to become habitual. You got to put that work in.
Mm-hmm.
It's like an athlete.
Yep.
You're not going to get, all that gifting. And you might be gifted and talented, but you got to build on that gifting and talent. That's where aptitude comes in. Willingness to learn something new, or craft your gift or talent. So you got to put the work in. Make your thoughts constructive and positive. Put the work in to do that daily. Affirmations. We do affirmations every Wednesday. Every Wednesday. They're needed, period, to shape and frame your mind, to get your day started, so that whenever it comes your way, it doesn't rock you and shake you to a point to where it affects the rest of your day, week, month, whatever. Again, life happens, and I get that. It happens. We all have our day or days. We're not perfect. But the turnaround time is really the determining factor. Turnaround time. So look for the best in people and ideas. Another big thing. Look for the best in people and ideas. Again, no one is perfect. But look for the best in people. Where can you see that shining light? Out of all the negativity that person has, or all the so-called bad things they do or say, like, where's that shining light? Where is that best positive thing about them? Even the idea that someone gives, like, oh, no, don't. They always say, don't knock it till you try it, or don't, judge a book by its cover. Now, of course, there are some things that you just might not want to participate in, and I get that because it's a moral thing. I get it. But if we're talking in a business arena or in family or stuff like that, find the best in people and their ideas, and go from there. Number 3, don't waste time talking to people about your problems, and they can't solve them. I actually laughed when I saw that. I said, "Wow." Even though I knew that, it's like, man, you put it out there like that, you're like, oh man, like that's huge too. Again, don't waste time talking to people about your problems and they can't solve them. You know what that does? That makes your problem bigger than the solution you're looking for. When you make your problem bigger than your solution you're looking for, the problem overwhelms everything else. It takes over.
Right.
It takes over. And the more people you tell about it, the bigger your problem gets. Because guess what? If they can't help you solve it, you know what they're going to do? They're going to tell somebody else. They're going to tell somebody else. And they're going to tell somebody else. And now your problem is getting bigger because you told somebody who told somebody else who could tell other people about it. Talk to the right people. The ones that can help you or give you solutions to solve that problem. Period. Radiate the attitude that brings or lets others reflect the attitude. It's like the sun. The sun is a shining light. It gives off heat and light and vitamin C or D and all that stuff. Whatever it does, reflect it. Whatever it is you want to have brought into your life, reflect that to others. You know, they say that there's a few things that are contagious: a smile and a yawn. It's very, very, highly, very rare that someone yawns and you look at that person and then you don't yawn next. It is very highly likely that that happens. Someone will smile. You may smile back. I do believe and think that a yawn is more contagious than a smile is. That's just my own opinion. I'm not saying I'm right. Because you can be mad as all get out. Somebody smile, you like, yeah, whatever. But someone yawns, it's a wrap. You're going to yawn too. Just the way it is. So radiate the attitude that brings and lets others reflect the attitude towards you. Last thing, and then I'll let O jump in here and give some final words. Treat everyone you come in contact with, again, as the most important person on earth. In that moment, when you meet someone for the first time, eye contact. Stand up. Like if you're sitting down and you're being introduced to somebody or they speak to you, stand up. Give them your undivided attention. Standing up does wonders. I'm going to drop this one nugget on you. Standing up to greet somebody, if you have to be sitting down, works wonders. Because what it tells that person is, you're so important to me, I'm going to stop what I'm doing, whatever that is, and I'm going to acknowledge the fact that you just walked in the room or that you just came into my presence.
It's an honorable position.
Honorable position. I couldn't have said it better. Honorable position.
Yeah.
Standing up, looking someone in the eye, shaking their hand, speaking to them, and giving them your undivided attention, no matter what they're saying, goes super long way. Oh, what you got before we go?
So before we go, man, I just want to say this to the people. That thing that you've been believing for, that thing that you've been praying for, that thing that you are seeing yourself doing or seeing yourself becoming, you need to change your posture for that thing, change the positioning for that thing, and change your disposition for that thing, which ultimately all means you need to change your attitude towards that thing. And we can break it down even more. Like, just if you're saying you want to become the thing, get in position to become it. Whether that means you got to get your aptitude towards whatever that thing is up, your maybe your altitude of how low you may be thinking. Maybe you need to get the altitude of your mindset higher and just your attitude altogether towards that thing. Or like, just again, position yourself to be it, posture yourself like you already are it, and get a better disposition towards the thing that you want to become. And that's it, brother.
A to the men. Boom, there it is. All right, guys, before we go, if you haven't heard by now already, I have written a book, and I'm actually in the promotion phase of it. So you're going to hear about this for the next few weeks, if not more. So the book that I've written is called Letting Go of Baby 2. Letting Go of Baby 2 from a Father's Heart by Simbawi Nibaye Jr. And this book is about baby loss from the male perspective. And I wrote this book, and just to give you a brief, this is real brief, wrote the book because my wife wrote her book, Letting Go of Baby, before I did. And I saw how it impacted the women's lives who read it. And I felt impressed upon myself to write the men's version to help men out who have lost babies and have never actually really addressed it or talked about it or dealt with it, because we hear about it so much from the woman's perspective, which we rightfully should, because they're the ones who are carrying the babies. And it's a very special bond between a child and a woman because of the labor they go through for that 9 or 10 months now, they call it. and when these things happen, it's very devastating. But us as men, we very rarely talk about this, and we very rarely address it. So I wanted to help men talk about it, help them address it as well. So Letting Go of Baby 2, it's in a pre-order phase right now. You can literally go to Simbawi.com and you can actually pre-order your book if you like. Pre-order it, Letting Go of Baby 2. Also, if you want to get the series, you can get both my book, my wife's book, and the follow-up to her book, to her and her friend who is a counselor and psychologist, a grief book. It's called What Next? A guide of the steps of grief that we go through when we go through loss. So that's a 3-book series you can get. You can get my wife's book, Letting Go of Baby, the grief book, and my book as a package, if you like, also from Simbawi.com as well. So you'll hear about this for the next few weeks. Thank you for your support. I appreciate you guys. This is something very big and huge for me. Thank you so much. Thanks to my man O for all his support and all that he does. We're working on something for him too as well. We'll talk about that later. Right now, we're going to sign off for today. Thank you so much, you guys, for joining us. Join us next week. We'll have another amazing show for you. Continue to think it, speak it, and achieve it. And as always, until next time, I holla. Thank you for joining the Frame of Mind Inc. podcast. And as always, here at Frame of Mind Inc., think positive thoughts, say positive things, and do positive deeds. As our tagline says, think it, speak it, achieve it. See you next time.
It's a frame of mind. It's what you say and what you do.
Don't forget to check us out on the web at www.frameofmindinc.com, where you can browse our online apparel store, listen to some of our original music and production services, as well as view our videos and projects we've done for our clients and customers. Pre-orders for my new book, Letting Go of Baby 2, From a Father's Heart, are now available at Simbawi.com. That's TSOMBAWI.com.